Well, I'm joined now by Catherine Burble-Singh, who's the head teacher at Michaela Community School in London, and Amanda Moss, a mother of 6, who was threatened with prosecution after taking her children on a term-time holiday. Catherine, first, do you sympathise with some parents who see John Platt as a bit of a hero, and thousands will follow what he's done?
No, I don't sympathise. I think it's really important for children to be in school 100% of the time. The reason why they don't start prosecuting until below 90% is because sometimes in exceptional circumstances the child is ill, the child is not able to go to school. We need to put this in context. In Britain, 20% of our children leave school functionally innumerate and functionally illiterate. And if you compare the other 80% with their equivalents in China, the children in China are 3 years ahead. A Chinese family...
We don't know that that's to do with attendance, though.
Well, if children aren't in school, and all of the studies show, they do worse when it comes to their exams.
Amanda, aren't you worried about harming your children's educational prospects?
No, my children are all in top sets in school, and I've regularly taken them out of school in term time. I totally refute all the studies that I've not seen. I don't believe that taking your children out of school harms their education at all. I was taken out as a child, and I run 2 companies now, and I'm very successful. I think it's down to sensible parenting and pushing your children, encouraging them to do their homework on time and attend regularly. But, at the end of term, when they are watching DVDs, that is not affecting their education.
Watching DVDs at the end of term, far better to go off on a family holiday.
Well, of course, at Michaela, we would never do that. And our children at Michaela are desperate to be in school because they know that if they're not there, even for just one day, they will fall behind. That will affect their self-esteem and their confidence.
Your kids are at the wrong school, clearly.
I think that travelling broadens the mind, and travelling makes children far more confident.
To Disney World?
Absolutely. They're still seeing different cultures, and, they're still travelling on aeroplanes and going to different countries and going through customs.
What I would say is this is about the values that we are teaching our children and in society. So they get 13 weeks of holiday per year. If you take... Mr. Platt was actually proud of the fact that his daughter had 93% attendance, which means an additional 2.5 weeks on top of that 13 weeks. We are trying to educate our children so that when they grow up, they go to work every day. They don't ring up one day, pretend being ill so that they can go on holiday.
But that would be all very well if the tour operators didn't put up prices astronomically in the holiday season. I
agree, and think of the poor teachers who also have to pay those prices to go on holiday. Absolutely, but that is a different problem. That doesn't mean that parents should be teaching their children a set of values, which means that later as adults they won't be able to perform as fully fledged working adults.
I don't think that children won't be able to perform just by going on holiday. I think we're the only country in Europe that actually penalises our children. I don't think it's down to the government to tell us how to raise our children. I think we're very competent and we know what's best for our children. And yes, they are going to be in school most of the time, but I know from first-hand experience that my kids are watching DVDs the last week of term, and I'm going to save £800 on flights.
Well, are you saying that Amanda's children are truants?
I'm saying that we should believe in terms like responsibility and duty. We have a duty to our community, to our teachers. We have a responsibility to our children to make sure that we're teaching them the kinds of values that we would want to see in our society. And this is bigger than Mr. Platt. This says something about our society and our country. A Chinese family in China would never do this, not because the law doesn't allow them to do it, but because their society wouldn't allow them to do it, because they would feel shame at doing such a thing.
Well, they're talking about values, but actually the schools are encouraging parents to lie to the school about taking their children out for a day.
Well, not if you kept your children in school. I mean, then, do you feel any sense of shame, as Catherine is saying?
Not at all. My children are really well-grounded. And as a business owner, if I was to go on holiday at the same time as my staff, the business couldn't operate at the same... we have to stagger when we go on holidays, and that's got to be taken into consideration. The government is not looking after the welfare of families in general. Otherwise they'd be, monitoring the price of the holiday companies.
We're trying to compete on an international market. We are 23rd in the world for reading. We are 26th in the world for maths. The Chinese are right at the top. We are competing internationally, and we have to make sure that as a society, we are teaching our children the right kinds of values, both so that they can learn.
Amanda's kids are in the top sets, though, and they take time out all the time.
Yes, but then, well, we have to wait till their GCSEs. And not only that, but we do need to think internationally. We need to think about the competition. As a country, this says something about our society.
Amanda Moss and Catherine Birbalsingh, thank you very much for joining me.